All right, we'll get started here. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I'll lead that, and then Kim will do the board mission statement. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Our board mission statement: through high expectations and equitable opportunity, TMISD will focus on the whole child by providing a safe environment and high-quality curriculum with diverse and enriching experiences.
First item here is the public hearing, 2025-2026 tax rate.
Mr. Carroll? All right, this is going to sound very, very familiar. Now, I've never done it in two meetings, so we're going to talk about the same things. I think after tonight, y'all will be able to present our budget at the next workshop that y'all go to. If y'all want to sign up for it, because I think y'all might have a pretty good handle on it. And I've been instructed this has to last exactly until 6 o'clock, so I will try to squeeze it in with that. Here's our enrollment, showing our enrollment trends, how we've been steady for the last few years. And then we used next year's, this current year enrollment to calculate the next year's revenue. Here's our historical current certified property values. They did dip slightly a little bit. Once again, the delta between M&O and INS goes away because the M&G or the CC Polymers tax exemption has gone away. And then looking at our proposed occurrence tax rates, I compressed tier 1 tax rate with almost 62 cents because of the TRU we had in 2010. We're able to add on the additional 13 cents that originally was 17 cents, but got compressed to the 13 cents. So our M&O rate, 0.7575. We're going to have the same rate, proposing the exact same rate for the new year, 26. The INS rate is going up from a little over 19 cents to a little under 30 cents because of our debt. So our total tax rate is going to be proposed to be a little over $1.05. The M&O tax rate for the past 10 years, the chart that doesn't show up, but the overall tax rate for the past 10 years, we are going up mainly because the INS rate this year, but we're still way below the $1.40 from 10 years ago before the state started compressing our tax rates. Here's the effect on the average residence. The average market value of the residence has gone up slightly, and then the average taxable value has gone down significantly because of the additional $40,000. And if you apply the new total tax rates that we're proposing, the effect on the average resident is actually going down a little over $87. But once again, that is completely average, and we have about 3,000 residents per homestead taxing entities in our district. In the general fund, TA calculated tax rate, there's no change because we had a very slight variation. Tax values went down just a little bit, so our M&O tax rate from the state has not changed. We're using the current certified tax values for the estimate for next year, and then our ADA, the same as 24-25, and the tax collection rate of 98%. And then, like I said, reduction in tax collections will negatively affect state revenues, and then the biggest risk is when the comptroller looks at the values that our appraisal district turned in. Hopefully they will be in line, the comptroller will agree to those values, and there will not be a big variance between what the comptroller says and what the appraisal district has come up with. And then just talking about general fund revenue factors, I think we got $1 million more in the regional insurance allotment that will offset our windstorm property insurance. The basic cost allotment is almost $400,000. And then the teacher retention allotment, the biggest one, That's the 5,000 or the 8,000 for our teachers that have experience. A little over 1.7 million, and then the support staff retention allotment was the small amount we got to give raises to everybody else that is not a teacher. And then property taxes going down just a little bit because our property values did decrease slightly. And then investment earnings are going down because we have less to invest. Rates are still pretty good, but we have less cash in the bank. And then I adjusted the chapter 313, 188 a little bit. I increased it a little bit. We're still gonna get that for 2 more years. Even though the tax exemption to CC Polymers is gone, there's still always that $100 per year for the next 2 years. State revenues, combination of all those things on that other slide, were compared to last year's base budget, we're gonna get almost $4.3 million of additional funding from the state. And then chapter 49 recapture, going down a little bit, about 40,000. TRS is going up because our payroll's going up, but that is an offset. There's an expenditure to offset that. That's not affecting the bottom line. And then I've got Max Shars, that continues to decrease based upon the restrictions that they're putting on that. We just can't generate as much revenue as we used to before because they keep changing the rules on us. And then the local budgets, we decreased them 7%. That's the total reduction for all 5 campuses. They each reduced their budgets 7%, and that's their local budgets that they control, that they can allocate to cover things. It does not include specialized programs like bilingual, special ed, things that have separate funding. It's 100% their local budgets that they control. Debt service, a little bit of a decrease because we paid off a note, and we reduced our copier. I still didn't correct that. We reduced our copier and printer debt payments. Overall department cuts, it averages between 4% to 7%, depending upon fixed costs, a little over $100,000. Starting pay for the teachers, 0-year teachers, $2,500 increase. 1 to 2 years, which is not being funded by the state, we went ahead and gave them a $3,000 raise. And then the 3 to 4 and the over 5,000, those are what the state gave us.
They received those today.
Oh, good.
Yes, today was
That's
payday.
awesome.
All the teachers got caught up today. They got their raise, they got caught up the month, they got their first check last month. This month they got caught up with their raise and they got their new raise paycheck today. And then next month they'll get their regular 1/12 of their increase.
Awesome.
And then everybody else that got raises, clerical and para, 5% of their pay grade midpoint. Major transportation, 3% of their pay grade midpoint plus 50 cents. And that averages between 5% and 7.3% increases for that group of people. And then for all the other certified people, this is just the payroll benefit changes from base budget. Certified 1.4, clerical para, transportation. Stipends went down a little bit because we rolled them into their salaries. So it came up to about 1.6 million of base budget, from base budget last year to this year. That's how much we increased payroll. And then here's a summary of the general fund with all the increases. Total revenues, a little over 43 million. Same for expenditures. I've always got that 5,000 on there in case we sell some property for a balanced budget. And then estimated fund balance, a little over $8 million, about 2.3 months of operating expense. And I will throw in here, as we're closing the year that just ended, August 31st, I'm very confident that it's going to be close to virtually zero, so that we will not be going into fund balance. The $2.5 million deficit is going to be virtually zero. Debt service fund, total outstanding debt, a little over 153 million. We still have one more bond sale to do next year, and that'll finish out the current bond program as far as borrowing all the money that we need. Scheduled interest and principal and interest payments, a little over $11 million. So to pay that off, we need a tax rate of right under 30 cents, 29.9. We have a very healthy fund balance in the debt service fund. almost $3.5 million. And same estimate for next year, I'm using a collection rate of 98%. And then here's a summary of the debt service fund, showing that I'm still showing a surplus if we collect everything. And then we do earn some investment income, we do get some money from the state. I'm showing a $800,000 surplus budgeted. So the estimated fund balance will go up to a little over 3.7 for the 25-26. Then food service, the last legally adopted budget that you adopted, pretty much a repeat of last year. It has a deficit because I've got a surplus there that we've got to start spending down. And like I said, here's our fund balance in food service. It's considered excessive, so I got to start spending it down. And then just talking in the truth in taxation, we have the maximum compressed rate, what the state tells us. We have the local option tax rate, which was the TRE that we passed, so we can add the 13 cents. And so that's our voter approved rate, but then there's another calculation called the no new revenue tax rate that we have to do. And so right now, it currently, the voter approved tax rate only affects the INS rate because we've got to set that rate to pay our debt that the voters did approve. And then if we wanted to increase our M&O rate, we'd have to have an election. And then we're not planning on doing a defeasance, but if we did, we could set a higher INS rate. But this year, we're not doing that. And then the no new revenue tax rate, we have to calculate that. We have to publish that, even though it has nothing to do with how the state funds us and how we set our tax rate. Because it doesn't take into consideration how public school district tax rates are calculated, or the actual collection rates. So it requires specific language, but fortunately for us, our proposed adopted tax rate tonight is still less than the no new revenue tax calculation. Any questions?
Pretty good, Philip. You got it.
Short and sweet.
Yeah, I was told that I couldn't be short because then we had to sit here and stare at each other for. But once again, I appreciate y'all's patience. I appreciate y'all understanding everything we have to go through. Maybe some additional hoops we had to jump through this year. I greatly appreciate y'all understanding that and us getting through this together.
It just means we get to hear 3 times that we have zero.
Yes.
Great job.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Philip.
We like balanced budgets.
So to expand on how unique this is, the appraisal district is waiting for Ms. Jimenez and Mr. Paul's signatures, so he can immediately fax it to them that you've approved. Hopefully you'll approve.
Actually, to the county, to the tax assessor collector, so they can get our tax statements ready.
That was the promise we had to make. So when you see him leaving in a few minutes, and
Yes.
after Chrissy gets your 2 signatures.
Yes, after y'all approve the tax rate, let's sign the resolution so I can go scan it too.
Sounds good.
All right, sounds like we need to get busy.
Yep. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna go, do we have any public?
No, sir.
No, okay, so then we'll go with the next item here is the recognitions. Is that where we're headed?
Will you join me?
Talk a little first about the recognition. So good evening, Board President Arriaga, Mr. Van Matry and Board of Trustees. I am super excited to introduce to you our brand new initiative, our new employee recognition program, our Catch of the Month program. It is rooted in the FISH philosophy, which is a known approach for creating a positive and engaging workplace. It's rooted in the 4 pillars. The first pillar is Be There, which is being in the moment and giving our full attention to everyone at all times. Play, finding creative ways to bring joy into our work. Make Their Day, which is finding intentional ways to lift others up and make them feel valued. And Choose Your Attitude, which is understanding that although things are out of our control sometimes, it's how we choose to respond to those items. or to those events. Our employees district-wide can nominate any employee for the Catch of the Month. They can do so via a Google form that is gonna be sent out monthly, and they can go online and nominate whomever they'd like, and they just tell us how those individuals exhibit the 4 pillars. We will be recognizing each of our Catch of the Month in this forum with you because it's important that you recognize those that are going above and beyond. Really and truly, if we could recognize everyone, this whole place would be filled. We're also going to be recognizing them on social media. Last week, I did unveil and roll out our brand new Toloso Midway ISD Human Resources Facebook page, so I highly encourage everyone to like and follow our page where we'll be continuously highlighting our employees and the wonderful things that they're doing daily. In addition, we'll be giving each one of our winners a swag bag, which is what we have here. We did surprise our Catch of the Month last Thursday, and so they'll be receiving this swag bag that's filled with a t-shirt and some different fish items. We have been handing out these cute little fish, which I have one for each of you, as part of our fish philosophy. I will tell you, these are a huge hit. Mr. Van Matry keeps coming to visit me and ask me for fish, and we just love that, you know, our employees are loving it. To recognize each of our catches of the month at the campus level, we have, which was donated to us by Sassy Soshaki, this door hanger that says officially our Catch of the Month that will be hung in all of the vestibules for each campus so that everyone who enters the school knows exactly who our Catch of the Month is. And then internally, depending on who wins, we have this door hanger. I'm not exactly sure the exact term of it, but it's a marker that everyone can put around next to their classrooms or next to their office so that everyone who walks by knows who our Catch of the Month is for the month. So that's kind of what we're doing. We plan to do this for the rest of the year. We love the fish philosophy. I think it's one of the best, you know, I had never heard of it before and I just absolutely love it. So before I bring up this month's Catch of the Month, I'm going to read to you the 2 nominations that this individual received. So the first one is, Ms. Rivera assumed the role of teacher for our functional academics class this year. And in just 3 weeks, I have observed a remarkable transformation in her students. Her engaging teaching style and commitment to ensuring that each student receives individualized instruction are truly commendable. The students in her class are enthusiastic, focused, and eager to learn. Ms. Rivera fosters a positive and enjoying learning environment that makes education both meaningful and fun. The second nomination states, Ms. Rivera is currently our functional academics teacher and has done a wonderful job in just the first 2 weeks. She has brought a great attitude and loving atmosphere to her classroom. Every day she goes above and beyond to make each one of her students feel loved and important. She has the perfect personality and attitude to be in there with a group of students who need a little extra love and attention. There has already been great improvement with her students since school has started back that many people around our campus have noticed. So it is my great honor and privilege to introduce to you our first Catch of the Month, Ms. Marina Rivera, our functional academics teacher from Intermediate Campus. I'll go this way, so you don't have to. Are you sure? Yes, sir. Come on, guys, let's come here.
We'll take a picture anyways.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Huge
Thank
congratulations.
you.
Thank you for what you do.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Congratulations,
Thank
great job.
you.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
So let me just say this about Ms. Rivera. She and I came to TM at the same time. She was at the primary, and then I wanted to move her to the intermediate. She was a very effective third grade teacher last year with our gen ed kids, and came to us and saw a need with our special ed students. and wanted to transition, did what she needed to do from certification standards, which is, she didn't have to do that. She saw a need, and she's just flourished with those kids. And, you know, to win the first catch of the month says a lot.
Absolutely.
I'm so appreciative of the fact that I can say this in front of our Board of Trustees. You're really, really good at what you do.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Right in the middle.
Right in the
Somebody hand me that,
middle.
I'll hold that, and then somebody can hold it.
Hold my face.
Yeah.
Got it? Don't hit it. You can knock me out. I need a day off.
Okay, here we go. 1, 2, and 3. Got it. Thank you. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Chrissy, did I cover it, Chrissy?
Thank you so much.
Did I cover
Does
it?
she keep this?
We will take it back to
We'll take it back to you
campus.
tomorrow.
And Grayson was my busmate today. We
Oh.
were bus partners,
Thank you so
and
much.
he sang me songs today.
Next time I.
Yes.
How was the field trip?
It was actually so good. It was
Let's
the
walk up.
best.
I want to take the kids to this place. And I want to take them. It's take most of the day. But I only have to go out.
Love it. Send it.
Okay, I
All right,
will.
sir. Thank y'all so much.
That was pretty cool.
That was awesome. Really cool. All right, so now we'll get into our action items. The first one is adopt resolution to levy tax rate for 2025, 2026.
Mr. President, members of the board, the administration's recommendation is to move that property taxes be maintained by the adoption of a tax rate of $1.0565. This tax rate will include 0.7575 per $100 value for the general fund and a tax rate of 0.2990 per $100 value for the debt service fund.
Motion?
I'll make, go ahead,
Go ahead.
Leo. I'll second
I'll
Leo.
make the motion to approve the tax rate.
Okay, second by Kim. All those in favor? Carry 6-0.
And then you read the resolution.
Did you use this here?
No.
Okay. Resolution, adoption to levy a tax rate for Tulosa Midway Independent School District for the year 2025. Be it resolved, ordained, and ordered by the Board of Trustees of Tulosa Midway Independent School District on September 15, 2025, that we hereby levy or set the tax rate on a $100 valuation for the district for the tax year 2025 at a total tax rate of $1.0565 to be assessed and collected by the duties specified assessor and collector as follows. 0.7575 for the purpose of maintenance and operations, and 0.2990 for the purpose of payment to principal and interest on debts. Such taxes are to be assessed and collected by the tax officials designated by the district, adopted this 15th day, September 2025 by the Board of Trustees.
Okay. So now a couple of signatures.
Someone else has already signed it. Thanks so much.
Yes, sir, thank you. Don't look back if they whistle, Philip. Keep going.
Gotta get that revenue.
All right, next item here is discuss and consider the two options for filling a Board of Trustee Place 6 vacancy. Appoint someone to fill the vacancy until a new trustee election, order a special election to fill the vacancy for the remaining term.
Mr. President, members of the board, this was a trustee requested item, so I'll turn it over to the board.
And it says two options, and the first one says appoint someone to fill the vacancy until the next trustee election, would that be next November or is that this November?
It'd be November 27,
26.
26.
I'm just wondering, like, are we in any kind of, like, non-compliance or any kind of trouble for not having this seat filled already?
We're not in any sort of trouble. We are in non-compliance.
So what happens if we are in non-compliance? Do we get like a fine? Do we, like, what are consequences to that? Because I don't know, so that's why I'm asking, like, what happens with that?
Several months ago, when it first came up, I did consult a district judge. And the district judge can order the trustees to make a decision.
Okay. So are we in that position or not?
No. A district judge has not considered this. What that would take would be a complaint that would then follow the due process, and then it would ultimately be decided by the district judge.
Okay. So what are we gonna do?
So Denise's position would be up in the following November. So
Yes.
it would be 1 year from this November.
That's correct. And you would have, I'm assuming, the trustees that didn't run last November, which would be you,
Paul
Paul,
and Leo.
and Leo, plus the vacancy, you would have 4,
Seats.
yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
So
Well, I know that in the past, we have filled the vacancy by people that have turned in their applications that would be interested in sitting on the board. And we actually filled a position that way. The board has also gone to a special election, which will cost, if you go to a special election when it's not a normal election cycle, it will cost us more money because there are not other schools that are going to be a part of that election cycle. So we're not going to be able to split that money up
okay.
that we would normally be able to split election money up with. I don't know that I'm saying that completely correct, but kind of just giving you a description. So we can appoint someone, take applications and appoint someone, all of us working together, which has been done in the past, or we can go to a special election, which will cost all of us here are taxpayers. So it will cost our taxpayers money if we go to a special election. And with the amount that would be spent for a special election, would that be worth the seat that would have to
For the amount of time left.
go back and go through a whole nother election almost a year from now? So just a couple things to think about. I'm just kind of throwing the facts out there.
So I see what you're saying. I personally still feel like I don't want to appoint somebody. I'm going to be blunt and honest. Like, I don't want to appoint somebody because I feel like whoever sits on this board should be chosen by our community. So but I understand the whole financial part of it too.
Right.
For a year, because we're almost at November, so
Right.
it would only be for a year. So I understand from the person who would be running of their financial, financial.
Their
part of it
financial
to do it,
burden
yeah.
and
Well, I didn't want to say
the
burden, but their financial, yeah.
taxpayers also.
So I understand that part of it too, but then at the same time, I don't want to appoint somebody. I don't think that's right of me to appoint somebody for this chair when our community may not feel that way. You understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it's kind of like we're in a very hard spot. It's kind of like I understand for our district, we don't want to spend a lot of money because we don't have a lot, but at the same time, I don't want to appoint somebody. So in that case, like, I don't know if anybody else feels that way, but that's how I feel. So I don't know what we do in this situation, because I want to make sure that we're not in any kind of issues with being in non-compliance, but I don't want to choose somebody, but I know that it's a big financial, it's a big financial I
Yeah.
wanna say burden, I
Yeah,
need another
burden's
word.
probably not the
You
best
know,
word, but
Yeah, but you understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah, I
what
think
are your
the
thoughts?
conversation is still the same conversation we had a few months ago. I mean, really, the only two things we do is we sit here and we take a vote on which one we want to do. And if we end up at the stalemate we were at last time, then we move on. And as Van Matry said, there's options that are outside of our control. So I think that's really all we have to do.
Yeah.
My comment would be that we're not the only government entity that has those options available. In Congress, if there's a vacancy, you can choose to have that appointed until the next election. Same within this case, just because it's such a short time period, I wouldn't have a problem. We were all elected to represent the community. And so we would be representing the community in this same deal. If it was a much longer term, then I could see the benefit, but it's by the time the person takes office, it'll almost be time to have another election. But we can appoint, and it's been done before, and it's worked out.
Guys, on that side, what are y'all's thoughts?
I agree with you, so I say let's have an election.
I say, for me, I've gone, I've talked to y'all, I've been very open with y'all. I was thinking this way, I was thinking that way, I listen, I talk. The ROI on it is if you invest in an election, what are we going to get? A 7-0 vote instead of a 6-0 vote? Are we in a position where this position, now all positions matter, I'm not saying that, but we're looking at the amount of time we got it for, the investment it's gonna take, whether it's minimal, I don't know what the dollar amount is. So I'm still at the same boat I was in with the last time we voted on it, so I haven't changed really where I stand either. So kind of like Mr. Chapa said, he's still where he's at.
Yeah. How about you, Lee?
Yeah, and I would say the same thing. I think we're still at the same point we were before. I would prefer, of course, now, we had an opportunity last time to share the cost. Now it would be more expensive, so if we didn't do it then. So it would be even more costly now, I think, unless something came available that would present itself. And I don't even know that we're eligible for a November election at this point.
We've had conflicting opinions on that, and I'll share those with you. The county in an email says that we have passed. Legal has said that we can apply pressure and the county would be forced, or we would have to hold our own election. And quite frankly, I have no idea what that would cost to rent voting machines. And I've never done where we did our own election. It was either with the city or the county. So I don't think there's a clear black and white answer, Mr. Gonzalez, whether we couldn't do it in November.
Right, yeah.
Chrissy, I think when we held a special election and nothing else was going on, did we have like anywhere from 400 to 500 people show up?
Oh,
It was,
I wouldn't
wanted-
even say it was that many.
It was smaller than that. That's
was
when-
it
It was
300?
when you beat me, Kim.
I wasn't going there,
Why do you gotta
Paul.
bring it up?
I wasn't going there, Paul.
I'm just joking.
I
but-
was not even thinking about that, but I just remembered that it was not very many people
very
that
low.
showed
Very
up.
low.
And I just want to make sure I wanted to bring that up because I want to make sure we're being good stewards of our taxpayers' money. And if you're going to have 300 people show up to vote and we're spending, I'm throwing a number out there, $20,000, that just doesn't seem feasible for just now getting a balanced budget.
Yeah. I was just wanting to make sure that we're not in any kind of non-compliance or being fined in any way or getting into any kind of legal trouble because we don't have that seat. That was my
agree with that.
reason for saying, hey, we need to talk about this because
We
if,
are in non-compliance, but the consequences for that aren't clear, other than what I've had a discussion with a district judge.
do you think that maybe the reason, and I'm just asking, do you think maybe the reason why there hasn't been any kind of like consequences to it is because we've been pretty much able to
Take care of
to take care
business.
of business and not having any kind of like struggle as far as like being a split
I don't
vote?
know,
Could that be
I do
it?
know of 2 districts that have been in similar situations that didn't fill. But
So I
that's,
think the only vote that we've had that has not been 6-0
Is
is this
this one?
particular one.
Yeah, this one.
I think everything else has been, I cannot remember another vote that was not 6-0. So,
Yeah.
and that's a great point. We continue to carry on the business of the district, and I think we're in good shape right now, I really do.
What are your guys' opinions? What are y'all thinking?
I just told you, I move that we have an election.
I think we vote, and I guess it's gonna be pretty clear, it's gonna be 3-3 again. I mean, that's the right thing
Yeah,
to do in this
I mean,
particular case.
that's our next step, is to vote again and see where we end up.
Well, I'll start that. I'll make a motion to appoint someone to fill the vacancy until the next trustee election,
Okay.
which would be November 2026, right?
Okay.
I'll
Yes.
second that.
All right, then it'd be all those in favor to appoint, we would raise our hands, and it would be vote 3-3. So,
And I move that we have an election come November 2025.
election November 2025. Okay, I see what you're saying. All right, sorry. Okay, so all those in favor of Mr. Choppa's motion? All right. 3. Okay. You good there? That's the, okay. All right, the next item on the agenda here is discuss and consider second reading of board policy FNCA dress code policy for 2025-2026 school year.
Mr. President, members of the board, this is the second reading. It has not changed at all from the first reading. And we move for it to be adopted by the board trustees. It's a recommendation.
Any questions?
There was a correction made on the cell phone.
Yes, that's on the code of
That's on the
conduct.
code of conduct.
That's on the next one.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
we're on
This
dress.
is the dress code.
Oh, I dress code.
All right,
You need a motion?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the dress code.
I'll second that.
Mr. Chapa second, Leo. All those in favor? Carries 6-0. All right. Next item on our list, I think is student code
Yes.
of conduct. Okay.
Mr. President, members of the board, if you will look on page 11, Mr. Boone, that's where the edit was made. Otherwise, no changes from first reading.
All right. Any questions on the code of conduct? Comment? All right, we have a motion. Oh, you have a question, Monty?
No, I was saying, I don't like the whole cell phone thing. I miss texting with my son.
I will say,
I
the
do.
feedback I'm getting is that most people like the way we're handling it, so.
Even some kids have come home and told their parents, hey, I learned something today, and I thought, oh my gosh, that's horrible.
And my son is saying,
You know?
my friends and I don't like it.
Yeah.
We don't like it. They were, especially at the pep rally, I will say, they were saying, it was so sad. We were at the pep rally and they couldn't record or take pictures because they didn't have their cell phones.
Yeah,
Which I
they
think is is there any way we can allow them just during that pep rally time?
Because we get credit for that time.
It's considered, we are funded on minutes, and that's minutes, and we just can't do it. I've had 2 or 3 school districts, superintendents tell me that they wish they would have copied the way we rolled it out versus spending $50,000 for pouches and all of this.
Well,
But-
and I want to say too, I know the kids have it they're turned off, they're not supposed to access them and stuff, but the ability to, in case there were an
Yes.
emergency. Our kids have their phones, and I haven't heard of any discipline issues or no complaints that I've heard as far as how we've managed it. So, like you said, we've got good kids and we've got good teachers. We're
We
managing
really
this.
do.
So-
Gabe, do you and Ms. Trees have any comments?
It's actually smooth. We've noticed the lunchroom's been a lot louder, because kids are actually talking to each other. It's been kind of actually nice, as opposed to having kids just, so, you know.
And I will say, some students have, I don't know if you have any in your closet, but they've brought out the digital cameras with the SD cards. Hey, that's okay, because that is not a telecommunication device. So they've
That's
gotten
what-
very creative
She
with,
had a couple of Discmen showed up.
yes, some Discman, like
You know,
with the
that CD
CD.
player?
Hey.
I love it.
Old school,
I
huh?
love it. I don't know if this is an option, I think I've brought it up before, but maybe some Uno or stuff like that during the lunch period.
Dominoes.
I'd like to kind of try to get some donations if that's all right.
Don't give them dices, because then you'll see them in the corners.
So
Don't do it, don't do it.
Monty made a great point. I mean, and we talked about that with our child, you know, buying a little digital camera to be able to then record and stuff. But is anybody recording the pep rallies to where the kids can maybe download it online, or is that, can we even do that?
We were taking pictures and things, the yearbook and so on and so forth, but nobody's actually, I don't think we've set anybody to record.
Come out with the big old VHS cameras.
Well, the parents can still have their cell phone.
And they do, yeah.
Who has their cell phones?
The
Oh, the parents, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
See,
there's
parents-
actually cameras out there that you can buy now and flip it open and flip it to take a selfie with the camera. So they've, I guess they were already ready for our cell phone policy.
Probably.
Okay.
Great job, y'all. I'll make that motion that we adopt the 2025-2026 Student Code of Conduct.
Second.
Mr. Chapa makes the second. All those in favor? 6-0. Thank you. All right, the next one here is discuss and consider a resolution regarding Senate Bill 12 and parents' rights.
Mr. President, members of the board, Ms. Arias is going to present. This is one of the requirements of recent legislation regarding parent rights.
Okay, so good evening. You have had the opportunity to read through the resolution. So beginning September 1st, we were tasked with the Senate Bill 12, which is meant to strengthen the partnership between parents and schools by ensuring open communication, transparency, and family involvement. When we talk about stronger parent involvement, parents are now able to access their child's health records, grades, those kinds of things, and also written consent will be required for certain services. For example, the nurse, the counselor, those kinds of things, and as well as activities so parents stay informed and engaged of what their kids are doing. More transparency, you're able to see course information, syllabus, those kinds of things, and also a focus on student safety and privacy. There's an opportunity for parents to connect. We will be providing opportunities for parents to have conferences with their teachers, and then also clear boundaries for our staff. So, how are we responding as a district? We do have, if you noticed, one of the items on the resolution is we are to create a district parent portal for a comment section. That is ready to go. That is listed, that is already on our website. So you can check that out. Any parent, any stakeholder is able to go on there and post their comment, and it'll be directed to whoever it's meant to be. So I believe Ms. Rosie did set that up. It's already ready to go. We also have Destiny Quest platform, which is our checkout process where students check out their books in the library. We're working on connecting the emails so that parents get notification as to what books their kids are checking out. So we are in the process, we are working on that. As far as the Parents' Bill of Rights, that is already on our website under required postings. You also received one today through Parent Square. So if you noticed, it's got Parents' Bill of Rights, it was sent out to you. The other thing is the syllabus posting for campus. Our teachers they do have their syllabus, however, now we're tasked with putting it on the website. So hopefully by Monday, all campuses will have their syllabus posted on the district website and their campus website as well. As far as clubs and organizations, you have been receiving those notices. Make sure that we sign those notices that lets you know that your student is involved with that organization. So I've seen several of my own personal kids with those forms, so that's going out as well. And we are proud to say that 1,800 parents have submitted their forms via Skyward. So, and initially it was kind of like, well, parents weren't sure, but what it allowed us to do, the positive is, it allowed parents to get onto Skyward and actually access grades as well. Not only were they on there to approve the form, they could take a look at grades. So it ended up working out, it became a positive. Parents, we also have, for those parents that could not access Skyward, we had paper copies, but we are still highly encouraging them to go on to Skyward to log in so that they can have access to their students' records. We also have a CIS, our Communities in Schools. They will be having a session this week on Wednesday for any parents that need assistance on getting onto Skyward, which is an awesome thing. And in short, SB 12 is designed to support a strong school-home partnership, giving parents greater voice and confidence in their child's education. So you have before you the resolution. Any questions?
Y'all have been busy.
We have been. And our nurses and our counselors and everyone,
It's been a lot.
putting it on Skyward, getting it out there. There were several parts to the Senate bill, so we've been on top of it.
Great job.
I'm trying, Paul, I'm trying. I'm trying.
You're doing a good job, Monty.
It is so hard for me not to discuss this.
Hey, we can discuss it. If you got something to discuss, we can discuss.
I understand it's law. I'm just worried about the kids that, that the parents don't consent for. And if they need help, that we can't help them. That is the part that I'm really worried about. I'm really worried about, let me just give an example. And it's nobody that I know, I'm just my thoughts. So what happens if there is a student that does not have consent for counseling, for nursing, for anything, but the parent doesn't want the school to know what is actually truly happening at home, so they don't sign this consent, but now this student can't come and say, I need help. And I don't want you to tell my parent, because if you tell my parent when I go home, I'm gonna suffer even more. So what happens to those kids? Because there's a lot of kids in that situation. And, there's a larger amount of students that are in that predicament than the amount of students that are not, that have a home that is safe, secure, that they're not in any danger. And then there's other kids that are in danger. So what do we do? How do we help them if our counselors and our nurses are afraid to get involved because there's no consent? And I understand they can lose their position. I can understand they can have legal, troubles because of it. But who truly is the one who's suffering through all this? That student, that child. So what do we do? How do we help them? Because I know we have to do this. I know it. I know it's law. Do I agree? No. But what are we going to do for those kids? That's my concern.
So I can tell you that we have had some no's, of course. So our counselors and our nurses have been calling the parents and talking to them and explaining them through the process. When you sign no, this is what this means. Now, in those situations that you're talking about where, a kid doesn't want to discuss what's going on at home, we are professionals. We are still obligated to report anything. So if a kid's gonna come to us, we're gonna report it, right? And we're gonna continue doing what we need to do, which is the right thing to do. Now, us as teachers, I can tell you, or a lot of the teachers that I spoke with, they too were apprehensive about Senate Bill 12 because when I was at the middle school, I would tell them, build relationships with kids, but here we are in this situation. So the best practice is I've always told them, when they come to the nurse's station, when they come to the counselors, keep the parent informed, let them know. So we're gonna continue talking to kids, we're not gonna stop, because that's what we do.
So what happens if the student, because again, by law, you have to contact the parent, but what happens if the student?
Unless we determine that there's abuse, and that would put the child in danger.
So if the child comes and tells you like, please don't tell my mom, please don't tell my dad, because when I go home, if you call them and you tell them that I'm in here talking to you or trying to talk to you, and then when I get home, you have no idea the beating I'm gonna get, or the punishment, I shouldn't have said that, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said beating, I'm just saying, the punishment they're gonna receive when they go home. So building a relationship, and then if you tell them, well, I have to call your parent, guess what? That child is gonna shut down and say, I can't trust you. Because I came to you for help, and now you're going to the person who's hurting me. So how do we help them? Because you know what? We're here to help the kids. That is what we're here for. And I understand it. I think there's a lot more to this and they're leading on, but I think it's really not helping a lot of the kids.
So it puts our teachers in a really hard
Our counselors too.
situation.
Our counselors can't
And
even
nurses.
ask, are you
Nurses,
okay?
all
Yeah,
of them.
because if the minute you ask that question, are you okay? And the student starts to talk to you, they have to stop them because they cannot counsel them. So it's like, if they're going through something and they're having a bad moment and then they try to talk to a teacher, a counselor, a principal, a nurse, any adult that they trust, that they have a relationship with, that adult has to say, wait, let me go through the papers. Oh, so sorry, your parent didn't sign. We can't talk because I can get in trouble. That's where I think this bill is really, really wrong. I understand, yeah, parents need to be informed of everything that deals with their child because I like to be informed from any little thing that goes on with my kids. I get it. But not all kids have the same mom, not all kids have the same dad. And sometimes those people who are supposed to be their safe space is not.
Right.
And this bill, it protects the kids that are in a safe and loving home. It doesn't protect the kids that are not in that environment. That's my point of view of this bill.
No, it
You
is
know,
a great
Yeah,
point.
it is. It's a great
Can we
point.
expect future training
We're in
and stuff?
Guidance,
lot of school districts-
yes,
a lot of school
guidance,
districts.
yes,
Well, some of them-
everybody.
They're asking the
2
same
weeks into the
question.
bill. We're in a transition period. My guess is that this is from, not TEA, it's from the legislature. My guess is that the legislature will identify the concerns that you're articulating here tonight and provide some better guidance. But right now, we are really, it's the Wild West with some of this stuff.
So, oh, sorry.
One
what
of
were you
the,
gonna
one of the classes I went to, because it's every 2 years, was abuse and neglect and at the conference. And that's one of the things, it indicated that you don't have to have any proof, you just have to have a reasonable suspicion. So if
Common
that's
sense.
part of, I'm sorry?
Common sense.
Right, so if that's part of, as a teacher, if it's reasonable suspicion, then you can report it, and it doesn't even have to be, just if you suspect something, and I guess, we're gonna have to be a little more,
Vigilant.
vigilant
That's correct.
with that.
See, initially, we weren't even allowed to give Band-Aids. And then they came back and said, no, that's not what we're talking about. So I'm optimistic that, again, common sense will prevail.
so there's one more other question. So, I know that they were also saying, okay, we have consent. I'm gonna say, I gave consent for my kids. Because if there's something going on with my kiddos and they're at school, they're having a bad day or something is happening, yes, go to the counselor. Yes, go to the nurse. Do what you gotta do. Call me, let me know. Now, not my kid, I'm just saying, another child says they're thinking of suicidal tendencies. Then the counselor has to say, whoa, 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 stop. We can't discuss this any further. I need you to take this form home, tell your parents what's happening, have them sign this consent form because now we're in a different level. It's not just how are you doing, are you upset, what's going on. Now you're thinking of suicidal tendencies. So now you have to take this form home and have your parents acknowledge that they received it, sign it, then come back and then we can talk about it.
I don't
Now,
think
is
that, I don't
is
think
that
that
how it is?
hypothetical would work.
But, yeah, it's
Because
not.
that's a life-threatening
It is.
incident. And a life-threatening incident supersedes any of the Senate Bill
Okay,
12.
so there wouldn't be any kind of
That's
like,
correct.
stop right here, go
No,
home.
we would
Okay.
call the
correct.
parent right away, and that way we can get consent and we
escalate it
can
a
help.
different way.
Yes,
Okay.
that's life threatening.
And also,
Didn't they move that from 48 hours to 24 hours?
Yes.
Yes, they did.
Yes.
So they had
And I
24
kinda
hours.
wanted-
We're obligated.
I wanted to go back to what Monty was saying earlier.
What did I say?
No, when you were talking about how if a child was scared to go home of what might happen when they go home, I think that has to be taken serious also, that there's other agencies that would need to be notified.
Right.
And we could get in trouble for not notifying them if a kid was scared to go home.
So what happens if the student, if the child doesn't tell you that they're scared, they're just like, oh, okay, you know, whatever, and then you
Yeah,
can't
that's
report
it. That's a different
There's just so
situation.
many
Yeah,
different
I see.
loopholes, so many different
Yeah,
ways.
I see what you're saying.
And it's scary. It really is scary. I get it. I'm 110%. Yes, parent needs to know everything.
Right.
I'm just worried about the other kiddos that don't have that security, that don't have that, you know, loving home. That's, you know, that the parents are supposed to protect them, not be the ones hurting. And, you know, that's all I'm saying. And that's why I was trying really hard not to start this conversation, but I'm not,
We understand you. I
I'm
mean,
not
that's-
happy with
We're
this
waiting,
bill.
I know, we're waiting for guidance, just like Mr. Van Matry said. It is new right now, so we're all trying to figure it out. So as we get updates, we will continue to update you.
okay. And if we get updates and things change, we come back and we amend this?
Perhaps, yes. It's anything that is board approved, such as this, to make any changes, the board has to revisit it.
So if there's any changes, let us know.
I will let you know.
Thank you.
Yes.
I just want to make sure that all kids
No, I
across our
understand. Like I
district
said,
are taken
our
care of.
teachers are very apprehensive right now because that's all we do, build relationships with kids.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, good conversation. Very good conversation. Okay, so we have
A motion.
a motion yet. Do we have a motion for this?
To approve the
To approve
resolution.
the resolution?
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution.
All right. Second, Mr. Boone. All those in favor? 6-0. Now I have to read this resolution, so bear with me. Too bad.
Huh?
Resolution regarding Senate Bill 12 and parents' rights. Whereas Senate Bill 12 from the 89th legislative session relates to parental rights in public education, including requirements and prohibitions regarding instruction, diversity, equity, and inclusion duties, assistance with district, student, social transitioning, and student clubs. Whereas Senate Bill 12 becomes effective on September 1st, 2025, and whereas local policies relating to the matters in Senate Bill 12 will be adopted as soon as practicable, but after the effective date. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of Tuloso Midway School District directs all staff and contractors to comply with the following requirements of the directives. 1, all policies shall be implemented and followed. 2, parents' rights, including the right to direct the moral and religious training of their parent's child, make decisions concerning the child's education, and consent to medical, psychiatric, and psychological treatment of the parent's child will not be infringed unless required by law or to provide life-saving care to the child. 3, except as required by state and federal law, employees and contractors may not assign diversity, equity, and inclusion duties to any person, and the district hereby prohibits a district employee, contractor, or volunteer from engaging in diversity, equity, and inclusion duties at, for, or on behalf of the district. 4, an employer or contractor who intentionally or knowingly engages in or assigns to another person diversity, equity, inclusion duties, or engages in prohibited instruction will be appropriately disciplined up to and including termination. 5, employees of the district are prohibited from assisting students enrolled in the district with social transitioning, including providing any information about social transitioning or providing guidelines intended to assist the person with social transitioning. 6, no information about the parent's child may be withheld from the parent unless required by law, and parents are entitled to access all written records of the district concerning the parent's child, including library records and health records. Information may be withheld if disclosure is likely to result in the student suffering abuse or neglect. 7, information regarding a parent's right to access records relating to the parent's child shall be posted on the district's homepage of the internet website. 8, instructional plans or course syllabi for each class offered in the district or for a semester must be posted on the district's internet website at the beginning of each semester. 9, the superintendent is directed to provide for an internet portal through which parents of students enrolled in the district may submit comments to campus or district administrators and the board. 10, the board shall prioritize public comments by hearing comments at the beginning of each board meeting. 11, the board will only hold board meetings outside of typical work hours. Number 12, parents are entitled to notice no later than 1 business day after the date an employee first suspects that a criminal offense has been committed against the parent's child. 13, employees are not prohibited from providing parents with information regarding the student's mental, emotional, or physical health or well-being, or a change in services provided to or monitoring the student related to the student's mental, emotional, or physical health or well-being. 14, no employee will encourage or have the effect of encouraging a student to withhold from the student's parent information about the student's mental, emotional, or physical health or well-being. 15, employees may not discourage or prohibit parental knowledge or involvement in critical decisions affecting the student's mental, emotional, or physical health or well-being. 16, unless authorized by law, no employee shall disclose a child's health or medical information to any person other than the child's parent. 17, unless authorized by law, no employee may collect, use, store, or disclose to any person other than the child's parents a child's biometric identifiers. 18, unless authorized by law, no employee will provide health care services or medication or conduct a medical procedure to a student. 19, all grievances received by the district on or after September 1st, 2025 will comply with the legal requirements in Texas Education Code, Chapter 26A. 20, before a student may be provided with human sexuality instruction, the district must obtain a written consent for the student's parent in a manner prescribed by law. 21, no employee may provide or allow third party to provide instruction, guidance, activities, or programming regarding sexual orientation or gender identity to students enrolled in pre-kindergarten through grade 12. 22, each parent will provide at least two opportunities for in-person conferences with the child's teacher during the school year. 23, no student club authorized or sponsored by the district may be based on sexual orientation or gender identity. 24, written parental consent is required before a student may participate in a student club authorized or sponsored by the district or campus. 25, the superintendent is directed to provide a copy of this resolution to all district employees and contractors electronically and physically. Adopted this 15th day of September 2025 by the board. All right, the next item we have here is report, spring 2025 STAR EOC results.
Mr. President, members of the board, you have in your packet a significant amount of data regarding STAR, going back, I think, to 2019. Keep in mind, the test did change during the 22-23 school year. We can answer any questions you have regarding that information, but what I thought would be relevant is to have the presentation focus on last year to this year cohort progress. For example, looking at third grade reading for 24 and third grade reading for 25 are two different sets of kids. What's more engaging and informational is what did the fourth grade reading do in third grade, when they were in third grade? What did fourth grade do when they were in third grade math? And that's what we're going to present to you here today.
Okay, so there is a lot of information, a lot of data on here, but Mr. Van Matry asked us to look at just the summary. And so if you go to the last, it's the last slide on our presentation, and it's also an attachment, you have it. This one right here is the one I'm looking at, and we want to focus on the green, okay? Green means obviously that we grew, and so third grade, if you look at third grade reading in 2024, we were at 80% approaches, 52% meets, and 22% masters. As they are fourth graders, this is how they perform from 80 to 89, from 52 to 75, and we included the difference there, 22 to 54. So I had Iris pull the data and pull it up. So just in looking at it, we see a lot of green. That's really good. Okay, so same thing, third grade math, we went straight across in 2024, 75, 41, 14, and we increased over here, 75 to 78, 41 to 50, and 14 to 31. So significant gains, very good at the intermediates, fourth grade reading, 82, 60, and 23, and we're over here at 85, 71, and 56. So we're headed in the right direction. Fourth grade math, 77, 42, and 13% over here. We went down 5 percentage points, but that's an area we'll focus on this year. And then we went from 42 to 55, from 13 to 27. So fifth grade reading, 76, 59, and 28. And then we went to sixth graders, 90%, 76%, and 55%. Fifth grade math, when they were in 2024 in fifth grade, 61, 39, and 10. And we went up to 86, 83, and 70.
What happened there?
So we've got significant gains all across. And
No,
so-
but I know, but that one sticks out. That's a big jump. It'd be interesting to see if there's any, maybe it's just.
Oh, you mean the 10% to the 70?
You know, the 60% increase.
I think that's a typo.
Is that my time?
I think that's a typo.
Yeah.
Is it 10% to 70%?
Yeah,
No,
it was
no,
from
we
10%.
didn't have that big of a jump.
Okay.
That's a typo. I'll correct that.
There was still a good.
Yes.
We're still increasing
Still green.
a lot.
Still green, yeah.
Do you have it for us, Iris? I
I
think in
have
one
it
of the
probably,
slides.
if I go
Yeah.
back.
I'll send it to them in connection.
It's okay. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
no worries.
It's increasing.
Yes.
And that was the purpose of doing it. That way we could show, that it's green everywhere. And so that way you didn't have to go back and
It's
look.
still green, I know that.
No, that's great,
You
yeah.
can't do this with every STAR EOC test
Right.
because we only do science in grades 5 and 8, and we don't do biology except at high school. We don't do algebra 1 except in high school. But these are gold data points to show our campus administration how well a certain group of kids is increasing or decreasing. Because we've had a couple that decrease, and that presents an opportunity to focus on those kiddos.
That is correct. And so that was a purpose to show you, that we are progressing and we're doing everything we can in the classrooms, supporting our teachers, especially our C&I department, doing whatever it is that we need to help our teachers so that our students in turn are successful.
Part of our strategic goals, yeah. Moving in the right direction.
In the last couple of years, it's been close the gap, right? Close the gap, close the gap. We're seeing the gap close finally, which is
So what,
awesome.
yeah, we're a B. We want to be an A, but we're a B. But what I'm telling our administrators is, let's not focus on the outcome. The letter grade's going to come. Let's focus on the process. And if we do that, the outcome should take care of itself. You'll get this repeated to you in a little different format with the same data on the TAPER report, which is in a month or two. Okay, but I wanted to give that to you right now.
So overall, good news, very good news.
Awesome
It is
job.
amazing news,
Yes.
really, yo.
Yeah.
Yeah, the kids
Round of
have
applause
done
for
really
all y'all.
good. Kids have- That's like what the kids have done.
That's okay.
Yeah, the teachers and the campus administration have just done amazing work,
Trickles down.
All right, so that is report only. The next one is also report only. It's Toulouse Middle High School Performing Arts Center and Toulouse Middle School auditorium rental fees.
Mr. President, members of the board, we're in a new era as far as our finances, and so we have to be consistent. And when outside people want to use our facilities,
I
there
didn't even know
are,
that was an option.
what?
I didn't even know that was an option. I thought it was just for our kids.
No. For example, Nueces County will rent the park for their beauty pageant, Queen's Contest. And so it was all over the place. And so Mr. Hernandez has done a really, really good job of trying to bring fair equity and consistency into using our facilities. Mr. Hernandez?
Board members, good evening. First of all, it was not me, it was Curtis Ashby that worked on all these numbers. I'm just the messenger. Before you have the fee rates that we're proposing. If the first thing you look at is the basic rates for the Performing Arts Center, both the Jim Cooper and the Sue Nelson Performing Arts Center. In the past, there used to be a rental rate for Monday through Thursday, and then an increased rate for events on Friday, Saturday. It's now just gone to one rate consistently for the entire week, and it's basically gone to the Friday, Saturday rate. When you're looking at the basic fee rates, the Sue Nelson, even though it has a smaller capacity, it's a higher charge rate for renting that facility versus the Jim Cooper that sits almost double that amount. And that's because of the bells and whistles that come with the Sue Nelson Performance Center, the audio, the microphones and everything like that. The biggest change that you'll see is on the personnel hourly rates. In the past, the technician was $30 an hour. We've had to bump that up to $75 an hour. The student technician went from $10 an hour to $25 an hour. The technology advisor, which is mostly Curtis, has stayed the rate the same at $40 an hour. The security officer, we went from $40 an hour because we increased the rate for the officers that we pay them for all our events to $50 an hour. And then custodial stayed the same at $25 an hour. Again, these fee increases are just for the outside events. Anything that's TM-sponsored students, there's no increase for that.
Why such a big jump on the technician?
The cost has gone up considerably for that. And in fact, we haven't done a fee increase in about 6 years. We'll probably come up, every year now, we'll come up with an increase for this.
What was it prior?
It was $30, and it's now
I'm sorry.
$75 an hour.
I'm sorry, I didn't ask the question correctly. What was our rate for like the 8-hour block, like for the buildings, not the technicians, like it's 2,000?
These were the weekend rates. We didn't change those rates.
Oh,
because
so
we're still-
but it's now just
yeah,
Monday through Saturday?
Yes, Monday through Saturday, it's the same rate.
It's the same
And we're
rate. Oh,
comparable
okay.
with facilities like Flower Bluff and the other district, Gregory Portland, so we stay comparable with them. Where we're recouping our costs is in the technicians, the students that help, because that's where our cost is coming in, the police officers. We should at least break even, we shouldn't be incurring any expense on that.
Okay.
Did I answer your question? Or?
Yeah, I just want to be careful to not be too aggressive. I mean, this is huge extra money for us, right? We don't want to get greedy. You know, I'm just throwing it out there. We gotta be competitive, like you said, with the, because we do have some great facilities and we need to, you know, parlay that into some money for our kids and our schools. But we don't wanna get
Yeah, we're
greedy to where
hosting-
we're the, you know, Republic of Texas Omni up on the 25th floor.
We're hosting several one-act play.
Okay.
With that being said, though, we definitely need to not have money coming out of our district for someone else's activities, like us having to eat that cost, right?
Exactly.
We have very, very nice facilities, and I know, you know, we always rent out our athletic facilities and gyms and courts, and it's good as long as we're, and I like that we have security and custodial and all those things in there to help protect our.
Yep.
Is there an administrator?
Yeah. Typically Curtis is responsible for being
He
in
would
those
be the
events.
administrator, yeah.
So this is just giving a little transparency.
No, I like it. It's good.
Yes.
Good to see we're taking advantage of those things. All right, the next one here is report only again, TMISD Truancy Initiative.
Mr. President, members of the board, quite frankly, this is an area where there's a lot of opportunities to improve. And Ms. Arias, one of her many responsibilities is, so I'll turn it over to her.
I'll tell you what. Okay, so truancy, so we're gonna go over just the basics, kind of define some of the terms, and then we're gonna identify what we do here at Toloso Midway ISD. I have asked Mary Treese to help because she is spearheading the truancy process at the high school, and I've kind of picked her brain, and Iris is our district attendance officer. So between the three of us, we've been going back and forth, trying to set up some procedures and some consistency across the campuses. And I think in reflecting, we kind of found that we were kind of all over the place. One campus issued out this form, this campus issued out a different form. So now we're kind of all on the same page. So we'll go ahead and get started. All right, compulsory attendance, we're just defining basic terms. Of course, this is in the state of Texas. All children ages 6 through 19 must attend school every day as long as school is in session. It is required by law. We are also required to provide truancy prevention. Schools must take steps to prevent truancy before it becomes a legal issue. This includes a principal's plan, and basically it outlines supports for students with attendance concerns, and an attendance committee. We must formulate an attendance committee, which reviews cases and helps decide how to address attendance issues fairly. And then excused absences, this is policy FEC. Some absences may be excused, illness, medical appointments. We always encourage our parents constantly, please turn something in. We ask for those notes, and I know sometimes the kids get lost in their backpacks, but please, we want to encourage our families to turn in those documents. It is important. With our District of Innovation plan, our district has updated and revised attendance policies under its DOI plan to better support students and families. So we are not tied to that 90% rule, however, we do use it as a threshold to keep us in line. So knowing that, currently, if you look at our attendance, we're about 93 to 94%. One of the things that Mr. Van Matry has done is daily we get attendance reports. And that helps the campuses know and kind of figure out where they're at. And so we're arranging it around 93, 94. So in discussions with some of the principals, we are aiming high. We are aiming for 96% attendance. This is basically just a flow chart kind of after the 10th unexcused absence. This is basically to help our truancy officers on our truancy liaisons, our assistant principals that deal with truancy, to help guide them through the process. So you can kind of take a look at this and it'll help them make some decisions. Next one.
I have a quick question. What is considered part of, it says 10 unexcused days or parts of days?
So for example, if you are checking out your kid, maybe 6th period or 7th period, that's also considered unexcused.
I like
right?
that.
So we have a lot of our parents that have appointments and those kinds of things that leave sometime, it could be a math class and those are critical areas and they're leaving at that 6th period or 7th period daily. So that's what that means. So basically, here are the prevention measures that we do here at Toloso Midway ISD. We have sessions with the school counselor, parent conferences. This year, we are getting CIS more involved. Okay, we're giving them some structures. As a matter of fact, this morning we had a really good meeting at ACC with our campus truancy teams. We defined what a campus truancy team is, which is the assistant principal at the campus, the CIS case manager, and the attendance clerk. Between the three of them, they are going to work together to put all the documents that are needed. And then in that case, after that, it will go to Iris, Miss Iris Chapa. Ms. Trees, did you want to talk about some of the?
Sure, I definitely can. I know that thanks to Skyward, it has really streamlined a lot of these processes at the high school, and I believe almost all campuses. 3, 5, 7, and 9-day letters have been sent home. So if a student is absent 3 times, they get a letter. 5 times, they get a letter, and so forth. So those have already gone out. Any student that received a 3, 5, 7, or 9 letter, their letters were then given to Ms. Tipton, our CIS, and she then makes what we call a truancy folder. It lets us know, okay, this is a student that could possibly need to be monitored. And inside the folder, we have our tracking card, right? And it basically outlines the steps, what needs to happen first, second, and third. And this is an organization method so that when we do go to court, we have all of those documents and things in place. She also does what we call, it's a truancy behavior improvement plan or an attendance contract. And so these are all positive things that the student needs to do to correct their behaviors, such as communicate with teachers about missing assignments, meet with CIS case manager to review attendance, get motivation, make up hours to avoid credit denial. They sign this, also parent is very much so a part of this process. We like for parents to be at these meetings, but we do understand that, sometimes they work, so we allow over the phone. And of course, all of these forms meet all local and legal policies. We made sure to do that as well. After they've met with Ms. Tipton, they can get sent to the counselor. Also with Ms. Tipton, they do something that we call a welcome reflection. We want students to start to take more of their own initiative and responsibility, especially at high school. Maybe not for our littles, but for those at the high school, why were you late? Why were you truant? How are we gonna fix it? These are the things that Ms. Tipton is working on, and this is not exactly counseling, this is more social skills. If we get into that counseling realm and that SB 12, we'll deal with that, with those procedures. We don't need to open up that box again, right? So I know, it's a concern for all of us. You're preaching to the choir now. So anyways, after we get this process, they would see the counselor. If attendance is improving, they're gonna come and see myself. At that point, there can be some disciplinary consequences. It doesn't have to be disciplinary, right? It's whatever the student needs that's going to be the most beneficial, getting them to school on time.
So, and one of the things is that in working with these ladies is that we want to provide collaboration amongst our campus truancy teams because we were all over the place. Now we have a consistent, we created a handbook. Step 1 is this, step 2 is this, step 3, and we included all the forms, so we're not using different forms. So we did, like I said, had a meeting this morning. We had some great conversations, and everybody knows their expectations and their role in this process now. After that, after they put together, and I asked Mary Therese, please give me a folder. They need to see what it looks like. What are we submitting? Give me a completed one, and she's provided us with some examples, which we're gonna share with our campus truancy teams. And then after that, it will then go to Miss Iris Chapa, who will then approve and make sure we have signatures. And another thing that Ms. Trees and I did is we went to go visit the judge out in Robstown, Judge Bobby Gonzalez, who is willing to take our truancy cases. The one thing, though, that he did stress is make sure we have done all our interventions. So you have listed and you've read through them, all the interventions. He said we want to find the root cause and we want to make sure that we as a campus are doing everything to ensure that our kids are coming to school. Is it that they need clothes? Do they need shoes? What is it that they need? He wants us to exhaust all remedies and then go to his office, and he's willing to support us, so.
So it's, basically a win-win for everybody, right? The student, the parents, and the school. But at the same time, if there's a need in there that is maybe being missed, it can be caught this way, and we're gonna be able to help that student out or parents. So I like this a lot.
We want to remove those barriers. What is it that's keeping you from coming to school? How can we help with that? And that's one of the things that we insisted this morning. I don't want this to be a negative thing. I want us to also find out how can we help these parents? Because a lot of the times they've had negative interactions with the school. So they don't want to come to the school, they want to avoid it. So please keep in mind in conversations that they are in a caring, kind environment versus in a negative approach. So
This is definitely not threatening, and I will say too, the judge in Robstown, he is not about punitive measures. I'm sure he'll go there, but he was very restorative. So yet again, what do we need to do to restore that sense of equity so that all students have the same opportunity to come to school, whether it's they don't have clothes, whether it's, they're suffering, emotionally, do we need to get them T-chat, those kinds of things.
So hopefully we don't take any kids there, right?
exactly, that's the purpose. So we've already established the campus truancy teams, we met this morning. We are going to follow up with them in 3 weeks because there are still some questions that they weren't sure about it. Now, we're gonna coordinate with communities and schools, give them clear expectations of what their jobs and their roles are, and we're gonna work with those campus truancy teams throughout the year. Miss Iris Chapa has been attending the truancy roundtable since last year, so any feedback that she gets at those community roundtables, she will come back and share with us. And we're gonna continue to strengthen our partnerships. Like I said, Ms. Trees and I went to go visit Judge Bobby Gonzalez. We called him up and we said, what can we do to get this started? And so this is where we're at. Next one. Okay, and then this basically goes over who is who, in the grand scheme of things. Chapa is the truancy attendance officer, and we identified each assistant principal at each of the campuses. And we will continue also doing our campus-based incentives. We had a conversation about that this morning. Communities and schools, I've given them the task of making sure that every 6 weeks we have some sort of attendance incentive. And so they are working on that as well. Okay? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Questions? Good. All right, that was report only. Our next item here is Toulouse Midway High School GPA update.
Mr. President, members of the board, this is a policy change that's first reading. Dr. Sham is out of pocket, so Mr. Alvarado is going to pinch hit.
What you have before you is the first reading of adopting a 4.0 scale. So I'm sure all of you know what a 4-point scale is. Unfortunately, TMISD didn't have it. Because of that, this is kind of how the problem was initiated. We had students asking, sir, I need my 4.0 GPA. My college is asking for that. So I hand calculated their 4.0 GPA. The counselor hand calculated their 4.0. We got two different numbers because we used two different scales. And we realized we didn't have a universal scale. So what we did was we went through 5 different school districts, because they all have 5 different scales, and we put it out to a vote to the teachers. So the teachers then provided input on what they would like their 4.0 scale to be. That went to our department heads, and then our department heads created this 4.0 scale that you have. So this is by no means a way for us to do class rank. This is by no means a way for us to determine anything else, but then to be able to put a universally calculated 4.0 scale on every single student's transcript. So when they report it, they're reporting accurately. So this will be available on their transcript. But once again, nothing on class rank, has nothing to do with that, which is just the way TMISD has now decided to do a 4.0 scale. You might ask, why hadn't we had one? I don't know, but this is the scale that they came up with. Notice it's nice and long, it's really transparent. If I have this grade, this is what it is. And so this is our, what we've come up with as members of the high school staff.
So how were y'all doing it before if we didn't have a scale? Like, how were you getting that?
We weren't. Most school districts, so this is something kind of new. We were able to provide a GPA, a very accurate numeric GPA, but on a 4.0 scale, for instance, if I were using Kingsville's scale, an A, you get a 4, a B, you get a 3, a C, you get a 2, a D, you get a 1, and then below that, you get a 0. College Board, who's the ACT, SAT people, a very different one. They go 4.0, 3.8, 3.6, they go all the way down. And then you go use some other ISDs, and they've got something completely different. This is why the state of Texas decided to do a universal GPA change which is coming, I don't know when that's coming, but it's coming. They passed a law that's gonna universally pay high school can do a GPA. So because we didn't have one, I felt the need that we needed to have something to give to a kid that's accurate. That you can point to and say, this is how I calculated it. Well, it said it doesn't affect GPA, rank at all. This is just something for the kid to put on their transcript.
Well, and a lot of the rank one stuff and a lot of the recruiters can't put in a number. It has to be the GPA of 4.2 or 4.0 or whatever.
And how did you arrive at that decision? Was it the most favorable calculation or?
So if you notice, our tiered system has like a, 15, our first one was that everybody got a +10 for their honors class.
Right.
So we took 10% of a 4.0 scale, which is 0.4, so the highest grade you got was a 4.4. And then we just applied that for everything else from the year 20, for the sophomores below. They have a 0.15, a 0.10, and a 0.5 scale for their type of honors class. So we just applied it 4 times 0.15, that gave us your max value, and then we just applied it all the way down. We thought that was the most accurate way. Our teachers really didn't like the kid who got the 90, got the same grade as the kid who got 100. They all got a 4 point. So, their part where they wanted it chopped up a little bit more. So that was part of the discussion. Really, the discussion ended up being at what point do we stop giving that 0.0 credit? Was it a 65 or was it a 60? And before you get no credit whatsoever.
And that was at 59, right? That's where
They
you're,
chose the 60.
the 60.
Yeah, so at 60, there's no more credit. But like I said, this is just a way for us as a high school staff to use the same method to calculate everything and to put it on the kid's transcript when they're applying for college.
And this is very transparent. I mean, y'all did a great job. It's very easy to read, understand.
I knew you were a math teacher when you started spitting out numbers really, really quick. That's why I giggled. I was like, he's a math teacher.
Good job. No action. Okay.
All right, next item is discuss and consider ESC2 service program for the 2025-2026 school year.
Mr. President, members of the board, we're tabling this agenda item till Dr. Sham rejoins us.
All right, we'll move on to the next one here. Discuss and consider the second reading of TASB Update 125. BDAA local officers and officials, duties and requirements of board officers. BDV local, board international organization, board committees. BDF local, board internal organization advisory committees. EI local, academic achievement. FDE local, admissions, school safety transfers.
Mr. President, members of the board, I've had no communication regarding any questions regarding after first reading. So this is the identical version of TASB update local policy 125 for your consent and approval tonight.
Questions, suggestions, comments? All right. We have a motion. Brian?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Wayne is,
You. All right, we got the motion to approve the second reading of TASB Update 125 as presented. Leo seconds. All those in favor? Carry 6-0. All right, next item here is discuss and consider approval of resolution of nomination of a candidate for the Nueces County Appraisal District Board of Directors.
Mr. President, members of the board, the ISD has 88 votes out of 1,996, 4.4%. You have the right to nominate someone to be on the appraisal board.
Weren't you on it? Yeah. You want me to be back on it? All right, nomination, any takers?
You don't have any comments, Leo?
I don't have time.
All right, so that's for discussion, says,
Anybody else has
yeah,
suggestions?
is anybody suggestions or any comments?
Knows anyone that might want to?
What's that, Leo? What'd you say?
If anybody has a person they want to nominate?
All right, so it says,
You don't have to nominate anyone.
we're not to nominate, any. So do we make a motion, just move on without nominating?
Table it, move on.
Okay, table to move on. All right, next one here is report school district teaching permits.
Ms. Riggs?
Okay, so school district teaching permits have been around and in existence. However, we wanted to bring this to you so that we could introduce school district teaching permits again, because we'd like for the board to authorize one tonight during closed session. But before we did that, I wanted to give you an overview of some of the changes. So, school district teaching permits are governed by Texas Education Code 220.055. It allows someone to be employed as a teacher even though they do not hold a teaching certificate from TEA. The permit, if granted, would be valid only for our school district and will remain valid up until it's revoked. What positions qualify for a school district teaching permit? It's any teaching assignment except for those that are listed here. We cannot use them for anything other than a teacher. We cannot use it to employ a counselor. We cannot use it to employ a librarian or an administrator. In addition, there's certain specialties that we cannot use a teaching permit. We could not employ a special education teacher unless they were they held the appropriate certificate. We could not employ a dual language or a bilingual teacher, or English as or anyone who works with English as a second language, or any of our pre-K. So it's really only, it can be for CTE courses and some core courses, but it cannot be for our specialized teachers. So the biggest change that came out of House Bill 2 is that we can now offer these teaching permits to our paraprofessionals, which I think is really great because that goes along with our Grow Our Own. We have paraprofessionals who have been working with the district who are working toward their teaching degree. So specifically, if we have a paraprofessional who has worked with the district for at least 180 days in the previous year, we can issue them a teaching permit as long as they are on track, either through a university or an EPP or educator prep program, to get a teaching certificate. And they have to be able to get at minimum a SOE, which is a statement of eligibility, which gives them an intern certificate within 3 years of you granting a teaching permit. They have, with this new House Bill 2 regulation, they have 3 years to be able to get their teaching permit. So you could issue one now, and they'd have this school year and the next 2 school years to do everything they need to do within their programs to become either certified or, like I said, get their teaching certificate. Once that we hit the 3 years, I would need to notify TEA as to whether or not they got their certificate. There is an application process. So first we need to evaluate the employee or the candidate for a teaching permit. What program are they in? What relative teaching experience do they have in the area they'll be teaching? They need board approval in order to do this. So that is why we would follow the same process, kind of like when we go into executive session, we talk about administrative contracts, teaching contracts. We will have a section now, if we decide to utilize this, for teaching permit. And then we have to fill out an application. Just because the board approves this candidate doesn't automatically mean that TEA will approve it. Once you give the approval, we will then submit an application on behalf of the candidate, and then TEA will notify us as to whether or not they approve the candidate. If the paraprofessional that we recommend holds a bachelor's degree, then we would submit the application, and that individual could start teaching the class immediately. If they do not hold a bachelor's degree, once you approve, we would then submit the application process to TEA, and they have 30 days to tell us whether or not they approve it. It's interesting, if they don't give us any response at all, the criteria says that we can go ahead and put the person in the classroom. So it's basically, we're waiting to see whether or not TEA gives us a no, this candidate is not available. So we're either looking for them not to respond, or for them to respond and say, yes, this candidate is eligible to teach the class. And so basically, that's how that would work. It would allow us to grow our own and fill positions where we might otherwise not have someone to teach a class. Does anyone have any questions? I know that's a lot of information in a short
So-
period.
What is the criteria that TEA is looking at? Do we know?
They will be looking at their program and their relative work experience.
Okay.
So we would have somebody who's not certified to be teaching like core classes for our kids?
Yes.
Potentially, yes.
And you will, in executive session, we'll have the individual's principal, they will make the case to you why you should approve this. Or you can say no. It's your call.
It's another avenue, just like our District of Innovation allows us to, in our CTE courses, have a non-certified teacher who has working experience in CTE. It's just another avenue for us to employ teachers.
I would say, knowing TM, this will be used rarely.
I guess I'll say.
But it provides us the flexibility, right? I mean, that's big,
Yes.
flexibility.
Right.
You know, I had never really heard of the program before. I didn't know how it worked because we very rarely, I can't think of when we utilized one of these at the district.
So why now? If we rarely would, why
It's a
now?
special circumstance that we believe we have a uniquely qualified individual that's demonstrated in the past that they have the expertise, they just don't have the credentials. It's a really unusual situation.
It would be almost like the young man teaching engineering, the engineering classes.
That's correct.
I mean, he's an engineer in the real world. He's just transitioning into the classroom and teaching, and there's a benefit to that sometimes, so.
Yes, not always, but in this case, and we'll let you decide based on when you hear from Mr. Alvarado.
All right, next one is number 14, Toulouse report only, Toulouse Midway Education Foundation Igniting the Spirit Lunch.
Yes, Wednesday, we have the luncheon. Mr. Gonzalez, if you want to say anything on behalf of the foundation, what I will say is I'm really proud of the foundation. They are doing this on their own. They've had very limited support and help from the ISD. When they ask for something, we give it, but they've done a good job. I'm anxious to attend the luncheon and support. You all have tickets. I don't know if it's tickets or they have a seat.
They have a seat.
Correct, they have a seat with you and a guest. and it's, I believe it starts at 11:30,
Yes, sir.
and it's at the Omni. So, Mr. Gonzalez, do you have anything to add?
I mean, I don't. I know it's, we kind of got a late start, but, you know, thankfully, we've got a lot of good donors and partners, and so we're on the cusp of raising $100,000.
That's great.
And I think our expenses are a little less than they were last year, so I think the net gain is gonna be even better. It might be a little smaller affair, but, I mean, the event is a legislative update. We'll have Senator Chewy Hinojosa there, as well as Todd Hunter, answering some questions that have been developed. Of course,
You can ask them about Senate Bill 12. That'd be a good opportunity, Ms. Jimenez.
I know, right? I'm gonna be like, come over here, let's have a conversation. I'm sorry, that bill is just, don't get me started.
So it should be a great event, you know. We look forward to seeing
Yeah,
everybody.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
All of our senior administrative team will be there to support the foundation. Good. Are you all planning, everybody can come?
You don't, you don't. Okay, good.
Okay, good.
And I just had this as an agenda item, just to tie up any loose end logistics, give you an opportunity,
Yeah,
Mr. Gonzalez.
thank you.
All righty, looking forward to it. The next one here we have is discuss and consider approval of consent agenda informational items. First one is check payment register. Next one is tax collection report. Next one is the enrollment report.
Still gaining.
Good stuff. And the last one is regular and special called board meeting minutes.
All right. Mr. President, members of the board, the administration recommends approval of the consent agenda items as presented.
I'll make that motion that we accept the consent agenda informational items as presented.
I'll second that.
Mr. Chapa. All those in favor? Carry 6-0. All right, here we have the next step here is closed session. The board will convene in closed meeting as authorized by the Texas Open Meetings Act to discuss items allowed by the Texas Government Code, Chapter 551.071 through .076, .082, .0821, .083, .084. You want to take a 5-minute break?
5 minutes.
All right, 7:40, we'll come back. 7:34 right now. All right, 8:14, reconvene from closed session.
Mr. President, members of the board, it is the administration's recommendation that the Board of Trustees issue an educator probationary contract for the 2025-2026 school year as presented.
Motion?
I'll make that motion.
All right, Kim,
I'll second.
second. All those in favor? 6-0.
Mr. President, members of the board, it is the administration's recommendation that the Board of Trustees issue an administrative probationary contract for the 2025-2026 school year as presented.
Motion.
I'll make that motion.
Brian,
I'll second.
Mr. Chapa. All those in favor? 6-0.
Mr. President, members of the board, it is the administration's recommendation that the Board of Trustees issue a school district teaching permit, non-Chapter 21 contract for the 2025-2026 school year as presented.
Make that motion.
Motion. Second. All those in favor? 6-0.
That's all we have, sir.
That's it. All right, next we have future meetings, October 20th, 2025, our regular board meeting. And now we have, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Second? Mr. Chapa, go. All those in favor? All right, 6-0.
Thank you, a lot of business tonight.
Got a lot done, thank you.
Very good.